Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Sportslook, the sports television program for the High Plains of West Texas and Eastern New Mexico. I'm your host, Doc Elder, and here in week two, just like an AC/DC song, I'm back in black. And just like an AC/DC song, I can guarantee you that we are going to be thunderstruck tonight because we are going to have an episode with Brent Owen, the head coach of Greyhound men's basketball. We're going to have Ryan Benitez. He is the assistant coach of Greyhound baseball. I'll finish up with an overtime. But as always, I'll start out with an Eastern recap. Greyhound softball started out the season last weekend with 5 games in Lubbock. They came back with 3 victories. Greyhound women's basketball played a game against Midwestern State. They won that. Played a game against Cameron. They won that one as well. Greyhound men's basketball, they defeated Midwestern State and Cameron. And Greyhound baseball lost 4 games, but they were all to the number 5 team in the nation, so not much of a disgrace in losing those games. Well, that has been your Eastern recap, so we'll clear the set and we'll bring in our first guest, Brent Owen from Greyhound men's basketball, right now. Welcome back to Sportslook, and we welcome back to the set of Sportslook the head coach of Greyhound men's basketball, Brent Owen. And Coach, on February 27th, 2022, you guys beat Western New Mexico University at the Greyhound Arena, and you have not lost since then.
It's been a great place to hang out, Doc. We've had a lot of fun playing games in Greyhound Arena. Our guys play just so well in Greyhound Arena. I think because of the energy that the fans bring. It just really lifts our level of energy on the offensive end and on the defensive end. We've been tough to beat. We've played some really strong opponents inside the arena, and a couple teams that have walked in leading the conference and walked out not leading the conference, and that's been a pretty good feeling. And just hope that it continues through these last 3 games.
Well, obviously, some things had to have gone extremely well for you to get that type of home win streak. And one of the things you correctly identified, the fact we've gotten real buy-in from the community, but your guys have to put a good quality product on the floor to get people to come out and want to watch them. And definitely, you've got some guys this year that have been pretty astoundingly good.
They've been fun to watch, that's for sure. Especially here in the last few weeks. I think our transition offense has really kind of stepped up to another level. And those are the exciting plays that end up being above the rim plays that everybody likes, I know, or the long 3-pointers in transition. I know people like. Our defense has been great all year long, and that's what's really allowing us to win games. We're leading the league in our opponent field goal percentage, which I think is probably your best indicator of the best defense in the league. And then we're leading the league in rebounding, and that's been a goal of mine, as you know, Doc, since we got to Eastern. I wanted to lead this league in rebounding, and pretty incredible group of guys to be leading the conference in those 2 categories. But they're an exciting group to watch. I think, especially in a small community though like Portales, it takes more than just good basketball skill to bring people out. And the other thing that these guys have brought is they're getting it done in the classroom. They have a 3.1 GPA. 3 straight semesters now with above a 3.0 GPA. I think maybe for the first time in our basketball program's history. And then, they're fun to be around. After we win a home game, you'll see them. They go give everyone a high five. They walk all the way around the arena. They take pictures. They sign autographs for the young ones. And they're just good citizens. And I think that goes a long way on bringing people to the arena as well.
And you actually showed me a video clip that proves how much buy-in we've got in the community. You showed me a video of a youth basketball player who was imitating Ja'Cory Ely doing the shoulder shimmy shake free throw.
Absolutely. It spreads, Doc. Yeah, Ja'Cory Ely's got a very, I guess help me out with the word, very unique free throw shooting style. And it involves a little shoulder shimmy, and a young man that was coming to our games recognized that and put it in place in his own game and sent us a video. And I think it's good for a couple reasons. It was good for me to have an opportunity. I showed the team the video. They all got a great kick out of it. It was fun. So that was one positive. But the other thing is, I think it's good for our guys to know that, look, they're having an influence on the young people in this community. and it's important to know that those young eyes are on him. It's just a good time for us to talk about being a good example.
Well, speaking of being a good example, we have an example of photojournalism at its best. We had a crew that was out taping your game against Midwestern and your game against Cameron. We've got highlights of both those games. So let's cue up the highlight reel and please walk us through it.
All right. Ja'Cory bringing the ball up here, defending Midwestern defending. Pass over to Eze DK, and that's just really good coaching, is what that is, Doc. That's just really good coaching. No, having a guy that can just go get a basket like that against 3 defenders, that's a luxury, and it makes you feel a lot better about yourself as a coach. But it's really the players that are getting it done. Here we've got good good hands, challenging shots on defense. We really swarming the ball. Junior gets the steal. Good pass ahead to Errol. Errol goes up and finishes strong through contact. Gets the foul, gets the layup, goes to the free throw line, makes a free throw for a 3-point play. There's a large guard right there being defended by another large 6'7" guard that we have. So you can see our switching defense there, which is really giving teams some problems. So you see 2 screens there. We switch them both. We keep the ball in front. Dwayne Chester, that right there is the reason we recruited Dwayne. And the reason we recruited several guys on our team. Blase Trnovich is another one, but they go and get the ball. Loose balls win games. Eze with the push. Again, we've really been looking to attack in transition. That was an incredible pass from freshman to freshman right there. So Blase sees Junior, throws the bounce pass between 2 players, and then Junior, who's a redshirt freshman, catches and shoots. Really been shooting the ball well. Those 2 guys have been coming in together in the last 2 games, and it seems like our team kind of catches fire. 2 really good shooters on the court when you have Junior and Blase together. We really got it done on the defensive end against Midwestern State. I believe it was 7 minutes to go in the first half. They had 7 points. That's really getting it done. Blase comes with a steal, this really nice behind-the-back play. Not so sure I like the underhand lob pass, but it was good for the show. And then Ja'Cory Ely's just been nothing but a highlight reel. Just constant finishes above the rim, and it's good to see our guys having the confidence to throw the ball up there to him. That's the beautiful thing about this time of year is they're really starting to find each other. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. And then when a good play like that happens on offense, typically our defense gets really good. And you see the pressure, the deflection off their defender. And he puts his arms up, not sure what what else to do. Good switch there. We challenge a shot. There's the leading rebounder in the Lone Star Conference, Errol White. Outlet to Trnovich, who pushes another freshman to freshman pass there. You find Errol. The ball moves. I actually wanted Tug to shoot that shot, but then he takes it strong to the rim, gets his contact, and instead of getting a 3 in the corner, he gets 3 the old-fashioned way. Good challenge. Again, leading rebounder in the conference, going to get the ball. This is where we've been good, pitching it ahead. And this is actually, I love that play right there. Dwayne Chester was turning the ball over early a lot. We talked about, pushing to score, but making sure you find the easy pass. He finds the easy pass to Blase, who's shooting the ball great. The transition 3 is really a backbreaker for our opponents.
The press has been no problem for you guys all season long.
And really, we don't mind. We kind of look forward to getting pressed, I'll be honest with you. That's just, again, really good coaching, Doc. You just put the guys in the right. No, they are really strong drivers. Both Ja'Cory and Tug really get to the rim. And then this play was just, so that's Junior Hodnett, the redshirt freshman. I've coached him for 2 years, and I have never seen that before, Doc. He just broke it out for the first time in a game, and man, that was an extremely exciting play. Really got our team going. If you watch after that in the video, and you'll the camera pans to our bench, all the guys on our bench are really happy and excited for him, and it really lifted our energy in that game.
And later on in that game, Blase Trnovich throws down a slam dunk. So it's not just Ja'Cory Ely. You've got a number of guys who can throw it down.
We do. And we had a couple in practice today that were pretty impressive too. Greg Johnson had one going down the lane with his left hand that was just. So they're fun to coach, and it's still worth 2 points, and I still think getting the ball is the most important thing in basketball. But I know that when you can finish like that and run in transition like that, it puts a lot of pressure on our opponents.
Well, you've had guys that have been in double digits all season long, and you never know who's going to be the leading scorer for the Greyhounds. Realistically, looking at this point in the season, who was the guy that you figured coming into the season was going to be pretty good offensively and has proven to be good offensively? And who's really been the most pleasant surprise offensively?
Yeah, Ja'Cory Ely, I had a pretty good feeling that he was going to be pretty difficult to guard in this league. I thought he would be a guy who got to the free throw line constantly. He's just a hard guy to stay in front of, very, very quick first step, and he's so long. So we figured he would be up there near the top. Probably the guy that's the surprise is his junior college teammate, Greg Johnson, who now plays for us as well. Greg was a 6-point a game scorer at Connor State. Now they were on a really good team. They had a couple Division I players. They had Ja'Cory, they had Greg, and he averaged 6 points a game. But when you're watching him play, it's like, man, he looks talented. Coach Davin Vo was a big part of encouraging me to take him. He had seen him play at another community college where he came from in Kansas, and just said, hey, this guy can really go. I know he's only averaging 6 points, but trust me here. And he said, plus, I know you love big, strong guards, and Greg is certainly that. So, but wow, he right off the bat in one of the preseason games, he had 26 points against a really good South Plains team. I think he was our leading scorer in the Grand Canyon game. And he's a guy that has really been a good and kind of a surprising high-level scorer. Had 28 points this past week in a game. So, yeah, he's been a good surprise.
We would certainly encourage people to come out for the game Saturday against Lubbock Christian. It's a game, we played them over there. It was a game we had a lead and just kind of slipped away from us in the second half. I'm sure this time around you guys would like to make sure a lead doesn't slip away.
The lead kind of slipped away from us when all of our starters got in foul trouble. We'll just say that was the way. Hey, Lubbock Christian did a great job. They were well coached and got us into some spots where we got into foul trouble. So yeah, that'll be a big piece of what we're trying to accomplish on Saturday is staying out of foul trouble. I feel like if we've got our best guys matched up against their best guys, we're at home, they're away, we can take that one. But it's certainly going to be a tough game against a team that's currently sitting number 3 in the conference.
And of course, the way the schedule just broke down this year, we actually play the same team twice the last week of the regular season. We play a Monday night game against Western New Mexico, and you can throw away the record when that game comes around because everybody wants the bragging rights in the Lone Star and the Atlanta Enchantment.
Absolutely, and they've quietly kind of came out of the woodwork a little bit here lately. They're playing some good basketball and having one of the better years they've had as well. So that'll be a game where both teams are amped up and ready to play. It'll be senior night for us. We have 2 seniors who will be playing their last game at Greyhound Arena. So just would really encourage everybody to come on out, watch these guys play. You're not going to regret, or you will regret if you don't get to see these guys play. They're fun to watch, exciting group, great guys. And like I said, that's senior night, and that's Western New Mexico. That's one that we've got to win, and would sure appreciate everybody's help.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the success that you've had so far, and let's hope that in a couple of weeks we're all making plans to go back into Lone Star State for a game in Frisco.
I sure hope so. That's certainly our plan.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up our first interview segment for this evening, so we'll clear the sets and we'll bring in Ryan Benitez right now. Welcome back to Sportslook, and we welcome to the set of Sportslook the assistant coach of Greyhound baseball, Ryan Benitez. And Coach, welcome to Sportslook.
Appreciate you guys having me. Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, you're in your second year at Eastern. Last year, your first year, obviously, at Eastern. But unlike most assistant coaches who get hired at Eastern, you didn't actually need a map to figure out how to get to Greyhound Field because you had actually been there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I played some ball at A&M Kingsville and played in this conference a little bit. So got a lot of experience here in Portales. Some good experiences, some bad ones. So definitely baseball. So at the end of the day, it was a lot of fun while we came up here.
And Coach, I'll point out to our listeners that you're being far too modest. You didn't just play some baseball; you were actually a first-team All-Conference pitcher.
Yes, sir, I was. Yes, sir.
What was the reason for the success that Kingsville had?
Well, the culture there that we had helped build, guys were very, very close, which is what we're trying to bring here to this program. I think our guys have a great culture here, so that definitely helped. Bringing in talent, young talent to add to the older guys definitely helped too as well. We had a great senior leadership. The captains were amazing. It wasn't something to where we had to vote for captains or anything like that. It was just kind of like you kind of already knew who the captains were walking in. So that definitely makes a big difference. We definitely have a big group of seniors this year here at Eastern. So hoping for a lot of leadership. We've definitely showed some signs there at Angelo for a little bit, but I think this year we're going to have a lot more leadership, which would probably help us a lot more.
You obviously had great success last year, and I'll be the first to admit you overachieved way beyond where I thought you guys were going to finish up. What was the key? What was it? Pitching, defense, hitting, or were you pretty good in all three of those aspects?
Well, I don't think it had to do with just one. I think it was kind of them playing collectively together. But I definitely what helped a lot was getting these guys to buy into the process of what Coach Price has been trying to build here, along with what I've brought in as well. Trying to get them to play with a lot more confidence, play as if they do belong in this conference, as if we can be competitive in this conference, and just try to recruit guys that kind of know that feeling of success and adding to the things that and the guys that have been here so far. So a lot that's added to that was yes pitching, but I think hitting kind of helped us a lot last year with being very scrappy hitters in the box and I think it was a few walk-offs that we had last year that helped us get past some competitors. Two actually were against Kingsville, so that was kind of cool to experience. And my head guy's still there that I played for, so being able to walk it off on him twice, and actually my best friend's the pitching coach there, so that was kind of a cool experience to be able to handle with that. But these guys, they were resilient last year, and we pushed them very hard in the fall. We put them through a lot of competitive stuff, whether it was tug of war or whether it was leapfrog down the field, whatever it was. We were just trying to be competitive in every aspect of the game.
Obviously, the season started last weekend for you, and it was, on the one hand, great to be playing baseball again, but you had to play the number five team in the nation,
Yes, sir.
Angelo State. And, a couple of games they got after you, but a couple of games you guys were right in there.
Yes, sir. We saw a lot of good things this weekend. We saw some bad things too as well. Some exposure, some things we need to work on, but some great things. We got young freshmen that came in, three to be particular. Dylan Hummel, Jonathan Clough had a great weekend at the plate, and then Jaden Martinez behind the plate. So again, adding freshmen to our older upperclassmen that are going to be able to continue what's going on here. We like to call those guys, hopefully they're going to be captains by the time that they leave here, but just a lot of older guys that, tired of being a part of a tradition that has been down for so long and just trying to get this program and this athletic base. I think a lot of these coaches around here are trying to get these athletics to where it needs to be and competitive in this conference. So it's something to where, baseball obviously wants to be a part of that, and we want to be competitive in this conference. So I think this weekend was kind of a real test for us. Yeah, it does kind of it was kind of tough playing them first, but I think it was something that we wanted. We wanted to be able to find out real quick how good we were going to be. We kind of throwing those guys to the fire, just see how it goes and let them play. They answered a lot of challenges, but we kind of backed down from some challenges too. So hopefully this weekend against International, we'll kind of come with a little bit more confidence and see what we can do with these guys.
Obviously, we have athletes that play baseball at Eastern New Mexico University, but they're student athletes, and so they're earning grades in the classroom. And if you were Professor Benitez and you were grading Greyhound baseball, what aspect of the game did they grade out the highest last weekend, and what area probably you would say needs more improvement?
Well, hitting, we came out and Angelo State has some great pitchers. They had quite a few D1 transfers, so I want to say our hitting was right at a B plus. I think that we could have done a little bit more at the plate with some runners on. I think we could have done a lot more stealing and been a little bit more aggressive on the bags, but with their pitching staff that they had, so experience. You got some guys coming from big Division I schools that have been in big games, so holding on runners, being able to challenge hitters kind of isn't a thing for those guys. You know, they just kind of go out there and play the game, but pitching for us, being in those close games, I believe it was 5-1 and 6-3. You know, I think Dalton Thatcher, being a senior guy for us, had one hit going into the seventh inning. And, you know, so that's something that a senior's got to do when you step up and do something for that for your team. I think he did a great job. We definitely brought in some more talent, arm-wise, that are going to be able to challenge guys like that a lot more and keep us in ball games. So for pitching side, you know, I would like to give them at least a B, B minus. I'm the pitching coach, so I'm gonna be a little more tougher on those guys. But I think something that we need to kind of step up a little bit is our base running and our defense. I think defense kind of put us in a hole at times, and I think it just comes with being those guys coming out and making the routine plays and not trying to do too much.
Yeah, playing within yourself is definitely a
Yes, sir.
key in the game of baseball. So, looking at it from last year, you had a number of guys who really came through in the clutch for you offensively, but more often than not, a kid named Spencer Roach figured pretty prominently. And I would imagine a lot of teams, if they can, will try to pitch around him. But if you get guys on base ahead of him, they're going to have to pitch to
Yes,
Spencer.
sir. And Spencer is going to be something very special for us. He struggled a little bit this past weekend, but there is scouting reports out now. We do have Synergy Sports, which is awesome to have. We can literally watch every single pitch, every single swing. So I'm sure Angelo State did their homework on Spencer, and we're not too worried. As a coaching staff, we're not worried on Spencer. Spencer's going to come out. He's a little unorthodox on what he does. He's a great player. He's very, very strong mentality. So hopefully Spencer comes out this weekend and kind of shows signs of what he did last year. Even last year, it kind of took him a little bit to get going, just to kind of get comfortable and realize how much of an effort he was going to make towards our team. So Spencer Roach is going to be just fine, and he'll be in our lineup this weekend, just doing what he does.
So, who else that people would recognize from last year's squad or probably going to be in the lineup? We don't want to pin you down,
Yeah, yeah,
here,
yeah.
but probably, names that people might recognize from last year that'll play this weekend.
Well, you know, who's going to come back this year and probably is going to be in our lineup every single game if he's healthy and is going to be Cam Matthews and his brother Bam Matthews too. They're both twins, but Cam's something special for us. He's our center fielder, leadoff hitter. Man, I've never seen an outfielder kind of like him. It's nice knowing that he's out there. If a ball gets hit in the gap, there's a great chance he can run it down. So, also being very, very quick on the bases. So being aggressive on the bases, just like we talked about. But Nick Schiffner being at first base is going to be back too as well. He did get injured this past weekend on a scoop. Ball hit him kind of in the eye and took him out a couple games, but trying to get him back healthy and get him back to where we need to be, and he should be back this weekend. But Nick Schiffner should be a part of it too as well. And another one that's special for us right now, and I know he was special for the football team as well, is Cooper Hamilton. So Cooper kicks for the football team, and he's our right fielder too. So Cooper was our three-hole hitter last year. He was in the three-hole this year, or this past weekend. He was also in the two-hole too at times. So he's going to do some special things for us. We actually had to throw him at first base when Nick went down. So when he played first base, he actually got a couple scoops over there that were big-time scoops for us. And he's just an athlete when it comes to it. So I think Cooper Hamilton is going to be special for us as well.
And I think the most astounding statistic was the fact that he led the Lone Star Conference in triples last year.
Yes, sir, he did. And I think what helps is our field here. Our guys like to call it the boneyard, but plays big. It's got big gaps, and the outfield's big, and he's pretty quick for himself. So he puts it in the gap. It's probably going to be a triple here. So I think that's kind of what helped him out.
We talked about the fact that starting tomorrow, we've got a 4-game series against Texas A&M International, a game Friday, 2 games Saturday, 1 game Sunday. And what can we expect from International?
Well, they're going to be scrappy, just like we talked about for us. They're going to come out, they're going to throw strikes, they're going to play small ball at times, they're going to try and steal. So for us to match that, we got to kind of come out with some energy. We got to make sure that we're executing pitches, making sure that we're executing on defense and doing what we can at the plate. So For us to be successful this weekend, it's going to be a lot of knowing who we are and playing our game, and it's going to come down to who's executing the most and who's going to challenge hitters and who's going to challenge the pitcher on the mound.
And here again, we don't want to pin you down too much, but if you kind of looked ahead and said the four guys that probably got starts for you on the mound this weekend, who do you think your four starters are going to be?
Well, I'm very confident in the four starters that we have. Last year, Noah De La Riva was a freshman for us, and he's been a starter for us this past weekend too. So I think Noah De La Riva is going to be on the mound for us at some point. Not sure which games he will be, but we got a new guy from Nimi College, Adrian Rubio. He's going to be one of our good arms on the mound. I'm expecting a lot of good things from him this season, so he'll probably be on the mound this weekend. We do have a returner back, Ruger Bravo. That's our honestly our one lefty on the mound right now. So he's going to be something special for us as well. And then Sunday is kind of a toss-up. It depends on who we have left in the bullpen or who we have left that I haven't used in the 3 games before. I know Dalton Thatcher started a game on Sunday this past weekend. We didn't have an opportunity to bring him in with Friday or Saturday's games. So if Dalton Thatcher is available, Dalton Thatcher is probably going to be our Sunday starter.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the success you had last year, and let's hope this year we go to the LSC playoffs.
Yes, sir. That's the goal.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up the interview segment of Sportslook. So what we'll do is we'll clear this out, and I'll finish up with an overtime right now. I started out the program with a musical reference, and I will do a musical reference here in overtime. I'm going to refer to a guy by the name of Marvin Gaye. Now, if you're a fan of Motown, you'll immediately recognize that name because he was a hugely successful recording artist for Motown. But it turned out he had a secret ambition. He wanted to also play professional football. And since he was recording for Motown, which is located in the motor town, which is Detroit, he contacted a couple of guys from the Detroit Lions named Mel Farr and Lem Barney and said, hey, teach me how to play football. And they did. And so Marvin Gaye went to the head coach of the Detroit Lions and said, I want a tryout for professional football. And the head coach of the Lions just laughed at him and said, I'm not going to sign you on a contract because if you get hurt, all of your fans are going to blame me. So Marvin Gaye never got a chance to play pro football. But there is a tail end of the story because to honor his 2 friends who had helped try to get him into the NFL, he invited them into the recording studio. And if you ever listen to his song, What's Going On, you can hear Lem Barney and Mel Farr singing background vocals. Well, that is going to wrap up an overtime, and that will wrap up an episode of Sportslook. I'd like to thank my 2 guests, Brent Owen from Greyhound Basketball and Ryan Benitez from Greyhound Baseball. I'd like to thank my floor crew. Once again, my director was Mr. Logan. So, for those aforementioned people, this is Doc Elder saying, so long.